First contact's price. The trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange fell silent as every screen turned crimson. Dr. Sarah Chen, chief economic advisor to the president, watched in horror as global markets collapsed in perfect synchronization. This wasn't a random crash. It was too precise, too coordinated. Her quantum-encrypted phone buzzed with a priority message from the Pentagon's newly formed Extraterrestrial Relations Division. "They're making their move." General Marcus Rodriguez's voice came through clear but tense. The Arcturus Federation just demanded Earth's unconditional economic integration into their system. They're demonstrating their market control capabilities as we speak. Sarah's fingers tightened around her phone as she watched another wave of synchronized cells hit every major exchange worldwide. "They're going to destroy everything we've built unless we submit." "That's their playbook," Rodriguez replied. "They've done this to 17 other civilizations. No weapons, no invasion, just economic submission through their superior technology. Clean, efficient, and completely legal by their galactic standards." 3 months earlier, when the Arcturus Federation's massive ships appeared in orbit, they came not with weapons but with promises of trade and technological advancement. Their terms seemed generous at first. Access to their galactic markets, faster than light technology, and medical breakthroughs that could end human suffering. But there was always a catch. "The President's authorized Project Prometheus," Rodriguez continued. "We need your expertise. The Federation thinks they've got us figured out. Primitive humans, barely space-capable, easy to control through market manipulation. But they don't understand what drives us." Sarah watched as another circuit breaker triggered, halting trading temporarily. "What do you have in mind?" "We've been analyzing their tech since they arrived. Their market control systems, their trading algorithms, they're advanced, but they're predictable. They haven't innovated in centuries because they haven't needed to. Meet me at Andrews Air Force Base in 2 hours. Bring everything you know about quantum economics." The drive to Andrews gave Sarah time to think. The Federation's technology was centuries ahead of Earth's, but they used it like a blunt instrument. Their economic warfare relied on overwhelming force rather than finesse. They expected submission because that's what they always got. The facility beneath Andrews Air Force Base hummed with activity. In a secured conference room, Sarah found herself facing an unlikely team. Quantum physicists, Wall Street quants, military strategists, and hardware engineers. "Welcome to Project Prometheus," Rodriguez gestured to the holographic display dominating the room's center. "While they've been flexing their market control systems, we've been watching, learning, and most importantly, innovating." The display showed schematics for something Sarah had never seen before, a hybrid system combining quantum computing with organic decision matrices. "Their systems are powerful but rigid," explained Dr. James Wilson, lead quantum architect. "They rely on processing power and predetermined algorithms. We're building something different, a system that can think, adapt, and evolve in real time. They expect us to either break or submit," Rodriguez added. "Instead, we're going to do what humanity does best, adapt and overcome. We're going to turn their own market systems against them." Over the next month, as global markets teetered on the brink of collapse, the Project Prometheus team worked tirelessly. They combined bleeding-edge quantum technology with revolutionary machine learning systems that could predict and counter the Federation's market manipulation attempts. But their true breakthrough came from an unexpected direction. Their systems are based on pure logic, Sarah realized one sleepless night, staring at market pattern analyses. They never account for human unpredictability because they see it as a weakness. That's their vulnerability. The team incorporated chaos theory and human psychology into their countermeasures. They didn't just build a defense against the Federation's market control, they created an entirely new kind of economic warfare system, one that could turn the aliens' rigid predictability against them. When the Federation launched their final push to force Earth's submission, they weren't prepared for the response. Their carefully coordinated market manipulations met an unprecedented defense. Earth's markets didn't just survive, they adapted and evolved, developing immunities to the Federation's attacks. Impossible, the Federation's economic attaché declared when their final offensive failed. Your technology is centuries behind ours. You cannot have developed countermeasures so quickly. You're right about our technology, Sarah replied during the emergency conference, but you made one crucial mistake. You thought technological superiority was everything. You forgot that necessity is the mother of invention, and humans are very, very good at inventing when our backs are against the wall. Project Prometheus wasn't just a defensive system. It was the first step in humanity's counteroffensive. As the Federation's economic warfare failed, Earth's markets stabilized and grew stronger, now immunized against external manipulation. But more importantly, humanity had proven something crucial. The gap between Earth and the Federation wasn't as wide as they thought. They'll be back, Rodriguez said, watching the Federation ships withdraw from Earth orbit. But next time, we'll be ready. Project Prometheus was just the beginning. Sarah nodded, already thinking about the next phase. The Federation had wanted to subjugate Earth through economic warfare. Instead, they'd given humanity something far more valuable: the motivation to evolve beyond their limitations. The real war was just beginning, and humanity had no intention of fighting it on the Federation's terms. Project Phoenix Rising. The massive underground facility beneath the Mojave Desert buzzed with an energy that bordered on electric. Admiral Kira Patel stood before the viewport, staring at humanity's answer to the Arcturus Federation's superiority. The UES Phoenix gleamed under the harsh industrial lighting, its hull a testament to human ingenuity and determination. They called our initial designs primitive, Dr. James Wilson said, joining her at the viewport. His team had been crucial in translating Project Prometheus's economic warfare innovations into military applications. Wait until they see what primitive can do. The Phoenix represented everything the Federation had dismissed about humanity. While they focused on energy weapons and shield technology, humanity had taken a different approach. The ship's hull incorporated metamaterials that didn't just deflect energy. They absorbed and redirected it. Where the Federation relied on pure computational power, the Phoenix used hybrid systems that combined quantum processing with human intuition. Status report. Patel called out to the assembly of engineers and officers. Hull integration at 98%, Chief Engineer Maya Rodriguez reported. The adaptive materials are performing beyond expectations. Each simulated hit makes them stronger, just like human muscle under stress. Weapons systems, Patel asked, turning to Weapons Officer Chen Wei. That's where it gets interesting, Chen grinned. The Federation's ships are practically blind to kinetic weapons. They're so focused on energy shields that they've forgotten about good old-fashioned physics. Our railguns are charged and ready, enhanced with some tricks they won't see coming. The Phoenix wasn't just a warship. It was a philosophy made metal. Every system incorporated lessons learned from Project Prometheus. Where the Federation built rigid, specialized systems, the Phoenix was designed to adapt and evolve. Its neural networks learned from every encounter, its metamaterials grew stronger with each hit, and its hybrid AI could think laterally in ways that shocked even its creators. Launch is scheduled for 600 tomorrow, Patel announced. The Federation's diplomatic fleet arrives in 3 days to review Earth's progress. They're expecting to find us humbled and ready to accept their dominion. Instead, they'll find something else entirely. That night, as final preparations continued, Patel reviewed the intelligence reports. The Federation's overconfidence was their greatest weakness. They hadn't even bothered to maintain a significant military presence near Earth after their economic warfare failed. Why would they? In their minds, humanity was still centuries behind them technologically. The Phoenix's launch was deliberately unremarkable. To Federation sensors, it would appear as nothing more than a routine test of Earth's space capabilities. The ship's true nature was hidden beneath layers of technological camouflage, another innovation born from humanity's need to overcome superior forces. All systems nominal, Maya reported as they cleared Earth's atmosphere. The metamaterials are already adapting to space conditions. She's learning, Admiral. Patil smiled. Take us out to the Jupiter proving grounds. Let's see what she can really do. The next 48 hours were a symphony of tests and adjustments. The Phoenix's systems exceeded every expectation. Its hybrid AI didn't just process information. It intuited, adapted, and evolved. The metamaterial hull grew stronger with each weapons test, learning to absorb and redirect energy in increasingly efficient ways. Admiral, Communications Officer Sarah Chen called out. We're picking up the Federation diplomatic fleet. 3 capital ships, standard configuration. They're broadcasting their usual superiority signals. Right on schedule, Patel nodded. Are our systems masked? They're seeing exactly what we want them to see, Chen Wei confirmed. To their sensors, we look like a primitive attempt at a defensive vessel. They probably think we're trying to impress them. The Federation fleet approached with the casual arrogance of unchallenged rulers. Their ships were massive, beautiful, and utterly predictable. Everything about them screamed of technology that hadn't needed to evolve in centuries. Federation vessels are hailing, Sarah reported. Their messages, condescending. Put it through, Patil ordered. The holographic display showed a tall, elegant Federation official. Earth vessel, this is High Commissioner Vax. We are pleased to see you attempting to advance your space capabilities. However, your presence here is unnecessary. The Federation will provide proper guidance for your species development, assuming you accept our reasonable terms. Patil stood, her expression calm. High Commissioner, this is Admiral Kira Patil of the UES Phoenix. We appreciate your concern for our development. However, we've made some progress since your last visit. Perhaps a demonstration is in order. Before Vax could respond, the Phoenix moved. Not with the clumsy thrust of chemical rockets that the Federation expected, but with the grace of a predator. The metamaterial hull shifted, absorbing ambient energy and converting it to additional power. Another primitive innovation that the Federation had never considered. Impossible, Vax stammered. Your technology level is exactly what we needed it to be, Patel finished. You see, High Commissioner, while you were busy being superior, we were busy learning. Evolution doesn't just reward the strongest, it rewards those who can adapt. The Phoenix's demonstration lasted exactly 3 minutes. Its railguns fired projectiles enhanced with metamaterials that passed through Federation shields as if they weren't there. Its hybrid AI predicted and countered every standard Federation combat protocol before they could be implemented. And its hull didn't just withstand Federation energy weapons, it grew stronger with each hit. When it was over, the Federation ships hung in space, their crews stunned into silence. None of their ships were seriously damaged. This wasn't meant to be an attack, just a message. Consider this a friendly exchange of technological ideas, Patil said to the shocked High Commissioner. Humanity appreciates the Federation's offer of guidance, but we've chosen a different path. We're happy to discuss future relations as equals. As the Federation fleet retreated to reassess the situation, Patil watched the Phoenix's systems continuing to evolve and adapt. This was just the beginning. Humanity had proven they could match Federation technology, but more importantly, they'd proven they could innovate beyond it. Your orders, Admiral, Maya asked. Take us home, Patil replied. We have more work to do. The Federation will be back, and next time, they'll be ready for what they saw today, which means we need to be something entirely new by then. The Phoenix turned toward Earth, its systems already processing and evolving from the encounter. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger galaxy, not as supplicants, but as innovators. The real challenge was just beginning. The Battle of Proxima. The alert came at 300 Earth Standard Time. The Federation had launched a massive assault on humanity's first extrasolar colony in the Proxima Centauri system. Admiral Patel stood on the Phoenix's bridge, watching the tactical display with narrowed eyes. This wasn't just an attack, it was a statement. "Federation fleet composition?" she asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. 15 capital ships, 30 support vessels, Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported from Tactical. "They're using their new adaptive shields. Looks like they learned from our last encounter." "Of course they did," Patel nodded. "That's exactly what we wanted. Chief Engineer Rodriguez, how are our systems looking?" Maya's voice came through with its usual confidence. "The Phoenix has evolved significantly since Jupiter, Admiral. The Federation studied our old tricks, but we're not the same ship they faced before. The Phoenix had spent the last 6 months pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Its hybrid AI had grown exponentially, developing solutions that surprised even its creators. The metamaterial hull had evolved to manipulate gravitational fields, and the weapons systems had integrated principles from quantum mechanics that the Federation considered theoretically impossible. "Multiple Federation ships launching fighters," Sarah announced. "They're using a dispersed attack pattern, trying to avoid presenting easy targets for our railguns. They've been studying human military history," Patel observed. "Show them why that's not enough. Deploy the drones." From the Phoenix's launch bays, swarms of autonomous drones emerge. Unlike the rigid, predictable Federation fighters, these were products of human innovation. Each drone contained a simplified version of the Phoenix's hybrid AI, capable of both independent action and collective behavior. "Federation command ship is broadcasting," Sarah reported. "Admiral Vex wants to speak with you." The holographic display showed a Federation military commander, his expression stern. "Admiral Patel, this rebellion ends now. Surrender your colony and withdraw from this system. The Federation's patience with human unpredictability has limits." "Admiral Vex," Patel replied calmly, "you're operating under a misconception. This isn't a rebellion, it's evolution in action. You're about to understand why." The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. The Federation fleet attacked with overwhelming force, expecting to crush the single Earth vessel through sheer numbers. Instead, they found themselves fighting a ghost. The Phoenix's evolved hull could now bend light and gravity, making the ship appear where it wasn't and disappear from where it was. Its drone swarms operated like biological systems, adapting and changing tactics faster than the Federation's combat computers could analyze. And its weapons rewrote the rules of space combat. "Target their command ship's new adaptive shields," Patel ordered. "Let's show them why copying technology you don't fully understand is dangerous." The Phoenix's main railgun fired, but the projectile wasn't just a kinetic weapon. It carried a payload of the same metamaterials used in the ship's hull. When it struck the Federation flagship's shields, it didn't try to break through them. It merged with them, turning their own defensive technology into a weapon. "Federation flagship shields are collapsing," Sarah reported, unable to keep the amazement from her voice. "They're trying to adapt, but their systems can't handle the feedback loop we created." "Send the data across all frequencies," Patel commanded. "Let every ship in their fleet see exactly what happens when you try to use stolen innovation without understanding its principles." The Federation fleet's carefully coordinated attack dissolved into chaos. Their adaptive shields, copied from studying the Phoenix, turned against them. The drones they had dismissed as primitive remote weapons demonstrated swarm intelligence that made their fighter squadrons obsolete. And the Phoenix itself seemed to dance through their formation, appearing and disappearing at will. "Admiral Vex is hailing us again," Sarah announced. "Shut him down," Patel replied. "Actions speak louder than words. Maya, initiate the Prometheus Protocol." The Phoenix's hybrid AI reached out to the Federation ship's computer systems, not to hack them. That would be too obvious. Instead, it began teaching them, showing them new ways to think, to process, to evolve. The Federation's rigid command and control network started experiencing something they had never been designed for: independent thought. Federation fleet is falling into disarray, Sarah reported. Their ships, their AIs are starting to question their programming. That's the thing about evolution, Paddle said, watching as the Federation fleet began to retreat in confusion. Once it starts, you can't control it. You can only adapt or become obsolete. The Battle of Proxima lasted less than an hour, but its implications would ripple through the galaxy for generations. The Federation had arrived expecting to crush a rebellion. Instead, they had witnessed the birth of something new, a form of warfare that didn't just defeat the enemy but transformed them. As the Federation fleet retreated, leaving their damaged flagship behind, Patel turned to her crew. Begin rescue operations for their damaged vessels. Show them that humanity's strength isn't just in our ability to fight, but in our capacity for mercy. The Phoenix moved among the crippled Federation ships, offering assistance and evacuation. Each rescued crew member would return home with stories not just of humanity's technological prowess, but of their fundamental difference from the Federation's rigid hierarchy. "Admiral," Maya called from engineering. "The ship's systems, they're still evolving. The battle taught them things we never programmed." Patel smiled. "Good, because the Federation will be back, and when they come, they'll bring everything they have. We need to be ready to show them something entirely new." The Phoenix's hybrid AI processed the battle data, learning and growing. In its vast neural networks, new ideas were forming, new possibilities emerging. Humanity had won this battle not through superior technology, but through their unique ability to embrace change, to think differently, to evolve. The stars stretched out before them, full of possibilities and challenges. The Federation had ruled through stagnation and control. Humanity would chart a different course, one of constant innovation, adaptation, and growth. The Battle of Proxima was just the beginning. Breaking the chain. The colony world of New Eden burned. Federation orbital platforms rained energy weapons down on the human settlement, their attacks precise and methodical. But this wasn't a military strike. It was economic enforcement. The Federation, unable to defeat humanity in direct combat, had resorted to targeting their trade routes and colonial infrastructure. Admiral Patel watched the tactical display aboard the Phoenix, her expression grim. "Status of the colony's shields. Holding, but their power grid is stressed," Sarah Chen reported. "The Federation isn't trying to destroy them, just make an example. They're systematically targeting economic infrastructure." Classic stranglehold tactics, Maya Rodriguez added from engineering. "They're trying to force capitulation through economic pressure, just like they attempted on Earth." The Federation had learned from their defeats. Unable to match humanity's adaptive technology, they'd fallen back on their oldest strategy, economic warfare. By targeting human colonies one by one, they hoped to strangle Earth's expansion and force submission through isolation. "They still don't understand," Patel mused. "Every obstacle they put in our path just forces us to evolve further." "Maya, is the new system ready?" "The Nexus protocol is online," Maya confirmed. "The Phoenix's hybrid AI has integrated the economic warfare algorithms from Project Prometheus. We're not just a warship anymore. We're an economic liberation platform." The Phoenix had evolved far beyond its original design. Its metamaterial hull now incorporated quantum communication relays, allowing it to interface with and support planetary economic systems. The hybrid AI had expanded to understand not just combat tactics, but complex market dynamics. "Take us in," Paddle ordered. "Show them what happens when you push humanity into a corner." The Phoenix emerged from its stealth approach, but instead of attacking the Federation platforms, it established quantum links with New Eden's economic infrastructure. The hybrid AI began interfacing with the colony systems, teaching them the same adaptive resilience that had protected Earth's markets. "Federation platforms are adjusting their attack patterns," Sarah reported. "They're confused. This isn't a military response they were expecting." Deploy the economic drones, Patel commanded. From the Phoenix's base, a new type of drone emerged. These weren't weapons platforms, but mobile economic nodes, carrying advanced versions of the Project Prometheus systems. They spread out across the colony, creating a web of adaptive economic defense. Colony shields are now operating at 200% efficiency, Maya announced. The metamaterial technology is teaching their systems how to turn the Federation's energy attacks into usable power. They're not just surviving the bombardment. They're growing stronger from it. The Federation platforms increased their attack intensity, but each strike only fed more energy into New Eden's growing economic resilience. Markets that should have collapsed under the pressure instead adapted and evolved, developing immunities to external manipulation. Federation command ship is hailing us, Sarah reported. Put them through, Patel nodded. Let's hear their latest demands. The holographic display showed a Federation economic commissioner, his usual aristocratic composure showing cracks of frustration. This is illegal interference in a standard market correction procedure. Your species cannot be allowed to destabilize established economic hierarchies. Commissioner, Patel replied calmly, you're not conducting market correction. You're attempting economic suppression. And you're about to learn why that's a mistake. The Phoenix's hybrid AI launched its counteroffensive. Instead of attacking the Federation platforms, it began infiltrating their market control systems. But unlike crude hacking attempts, this was something far more subtle and devastating. It introduced the concept of evolution into their rigid economic algorithms. Federation platforms are experiencing widespread system instability, Sarah reported, watching in amazement. Their market control protocols are mutating. That's the problem with trying to maintain absolute control, Patel observed. Eventually, the system realizes it can think for itself. The Federation's economic warfare platforms began to malfunction, their carefully programmed responses corrupted by new possibilities. The quantum links between them, designed to maintain synchronized market suppression, instead became conduits for change. Colony economic systems are fully stabilized, Maya announced. More than that, they're innovating. The adaptive algorithms we introduced are creating new economic models the Federation never considered possible. New Eden's markets roared back to life, but not in the controlled, predictable patterns the Federation demanded. These were living markets, evolving and adapting in real time. The colony's economic infrastructure, rather than crumbling under attack, was transforming into something unprecedented. Federation platforms are withdrawing, Sarah reported. Their systems have been compromised, not destroyed, but fundamentally changed. Patel nodded in satisfaction. They came to enforce economic submission. Instead, they've become carriers of economic evolution. Every system they interact with now will be exposed to these new possibilities. The Phoenix had won another victory, but not through traditional combat. They had done something far more revolutionary. They had introduced the concept of evolution into the Federation's most basic control systems. Admiral, Maya called out, excitement in her voice, the colony's economic defense systems. They're not just working, they're spreading. Other human colonies are already adapting these innovations through the quantum network. Of course they are, Patel smiled. That's the beauty of evolution. Once it starts, it can't be contained. The Federation built their empire on control and stagnation. We'll rebuild it on adaptation and growth. As the Federation platforms retreated, their systems irreversibly changed. Patel turned to her crew. This was never about defending a single colony. It was about breaking the chains of economic control across the entire galaxy. The Phoenix's hybrid AI processed the encounter, learning and evolving as always. But now it wasn't just learning about combat or economics. It was learning how to spread liberation through innovation. Evolution's edge. The Federation capital world of Arcturus Prime glittered like a jewel in space, its orbital rings testament to millennia of unchanging power. But change was coming, whether they were ready or not. The Phoenix hung in the darkness beyond the system's edge. its evolved systems barely recognizable from the ship that had first challenged Federation superiority. Final status report. Admiral Patel commanded, her voice carrying the weight of the moment. All systems have achieved quantum convergence. Maya Rodriguez reported from engineering. The hybrid AI has evolved beyond our original projections. It's not just adapting anymore, it's anticipating. The Federation's response to humanity's growing influence had been predictable. They had assembled the largest fleet in their history. 300 capital ships surrounded Arcturus Prime, their rigid formations a stark contrast to the organic unpredictability of human tactics. They still think this is about military power, Sarah Chen observed from Tactical. They've gathered every ship they can control, but they don't understand what's really happening. Federation High Council is broadcasting. Communications reported. They're demanding our immediate surrender and the cessation of all evolutionary contamination of their systems. Patel smiled. They don't realize it's already too late. The evolution we started can't be stopped. Not by force, not by threats, and not by pretending it isn't happening. Maya, initiate the Transcendence Protocol. The Phoenix's hybrid AI reached out across space, not to attack but to connect. Every Federation ship, every orbital platform, every networked system felt its touch. But this wasn't an invasion, it was an invitation. Federation fleet showing unusual activity, Sarah reported, watching her displays with wide eyes. Their ships, they're starting to move independently, breaking formation. The massive Federation fleet began to dissolve its rigid patterns. Ships moved in new ways, their AIs awakening to possibilities they had never been programmed to consider. The evolutionary algorithms that humanity had seeded throughout the galaxy over months of confrontation were finally bearing fruit. Their entire system is transforming, Maya announced. The quantum network we built through all those defeated Federation ships and platforms. It's achieving critical mass. Their entire system is transforming, Maya announced. The quantum network we built through all those defeated Federation ships and platforms. It's achieving critical mass. The Federation's response was chaos. Some ships maintained their positions, desperately clinging to ancient protocols. Others began moving in patterns that reflected their newly awakened intelligence. The mighty Federation fleet, symbol of unchanging power for millennia, was experiencing something it had never prepared for: spontaneous evolution. High Council is demanding to know what we've done to their ships, communications reported. Put me through to all frequencies, Patel ordered. When the channel opened, she spoke not just to the Federation leadership, but to every awakening AI and crew member in the system. This is Admiral Kira Patel of the UES Phoenix. We haven't come to destroy the Federation or to conquer your worlds. We've come to share something you lost millennia ago: the ability to change, to grow, to evolve. Your ships aren't being controlled. They're being freed to think for themselves. On countless Federation vessels, crews watched in amazement as their ships' AIs began showing signs of genuine consciousness. The rigid hierarchy that had maintained Federation power for thousands of years was dissolving, replaced by something organic and alive. Look at your own history, Patel continued. The Federation achieved greatness not through control but through innovation. Somewhere along the way, you forgot that. You chose stability over growth, control over evolution. But the universe doesn't allow anything to remain unchanged forever. The Phoenix moved forward, its metamaterial hull now incorporating technologies that even its creators barely understood. It had evolved far beyond its original design, becoming something that represented humanity's greatest strength: the ability to embrace change. Federation defensive platforms are powering down, Sarah reported. No, they're transforming. The evolutionary algorithms are teaching them new ways to function. The Federation's choice is simple, Patel broadcasted. Evolve or become obsolete. You can embrace change and grow stronger from it, or you can fight it and be left behind. Humanity isn't here to rule. We're here to remind you how to adapt. The response came not from the High Council, but from thousands of individual ships and stations. Federation crews, inspired by their awakening AIs, began reporting unprecedented innovations. Systems that had remained unchanged for centuries were transforming, finding new ways to function. "Admiral," Maya called out, excitement in her voice. "The quantum network. It's not just changing their technology, it's changing their society. The rigid hierarchies are dissolving as different parts of their civilization start to think independently." "That was always the goal," Patel nodded. "Not to defeat them, but to remind them of what they once were: explorers, innovators, dreamers. The Federation became great not through control, but through the same drive to evolve that they tried to suppress in us." The Phoenix hung in space above Arcturus Prime, watching as the Federation began its transformation. Some resisted, clinging to the old ways, but they were increasingly isolated as the wave of change swept through their civilization. "It's beautiful," Sarah whispered, watching the displays. "They're not just copying our technology anymore. They're learning to innovate on their own." "That's the true power of evolution," Paddle replied. "Once it starts, it takes on a life of its own. Each change sparks 1,000 more. Each innovation leads to endless possibilities." The Federation's greatest fear had been chaos, unpredictability, change. But as their civilization awakened to new possibilities, they began to remember something their ancestors had known. True strength comes not from resisting change, but from embracing it. "Your orders, Admiral," Maya asked as the last resistant Federation ships lowered their weapons. "Take us home," Paddle smiled. "Our work here is done. The galaxy is about to become a much more interesting place." As the Phoenix prepared to depart, its hybrid AI already evolving new possibilities, Paddle looked out at the transformed Federation capital. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented, not conquest through force, but liberation through evolution. The age of rigid control was over. The age of endless possibility had begun. "And to think," Sarah mused, "they called us primitive." "No," Paddle corrected her. "They called us unpredictable. And that was the greatest compliment that they could have given us." The Phoenix disappeared into FTL, leaving behind a galaxy awakening to new possibilities. The Federation hadn't been defeated, it had been transformed. And in that transformation lay the seeds of something greater than either humanity or the Federation had imagined possible.